Hello and welcome to the Crone Zone. I'm Lynn and I'm bringing you here the video for the Libra full moon. And this will be happening on the 12th of April for all of those of you who are west of the UK. Here in the UK, in the small hours of the morning, so just into the 13th. And 13th for most people who will be east of the UK. At all full moons, the sun is opposite the moon. So we have the sun in Aries at the point of this full moon, and it is accompanied there by both Chiron and Eris, who feed into the picture that we're seeing here. And the moon in Libra is, of course, opposite the sun. So we have just come out of a period of 18 months where our eclipses have been on the Aries-Libra axes. And in many ways, we can see this as an axis of war, Aries, and peace, Libra, but also of the self, Aries, and the other, Libra. So those are the kind of dynamics that this new moon is drawing upon. And like all full moons, it is a time of harvest. It is a time of release. It is a time of culmination. It is a time of, here we are. We have sown the seeds and this is the harvest we are reaping. And so I think it's very interesting here to look at just what that harvest seems to be. What then is our Libra full moon shining a light upon? What is it illuminating for us? Well, one of the aspects of Libra is to do with the notion of justice, is to do with the idea of balancing the scales of justice. And we know that Libra is a sign represented by those scales and has much to do with that higher concept of justice. And it seems that at this point, things have been weighed in the scales and found to be wanting. The ruler of our full moon is Venus, who is the ruler of Libra, and she is still in the sign of Pisces. But some interesting things are happening with Venus. Within 40 minutes of the exact point of the full moon, Libra moves out of her retrogradation. So she stations direct. She also happens to be conjunct the planet Saturn. Now, this certainly seems to be manifesting in the outer world. If we think of Venus, of Venus representing finances, those kind of issues, and of Saturn representing limitations and restrictions and hardship in many ways, we can see that this in some senses is a signature for some of the problems we've been having on the world stock markets of late. But it also has a more lasting and enduring signature, or one signature amongst many possibles, and that is the idea of Libra, of Venus representing our values. What is it that we value? And Saturn being very close to Venus, wanting to build values that endure. Saturn concerns itself with the next 3 generations. It wants things that endure. It wants things that are sound and sound principles. And it wants responsibility in values. So that is a big call here. Saturn is also called the Lord of Karma. And I think that there is a sense of reaping what you sow. And I think that is also reflected in the scales of the full moon. The water element dominates in this chart. It is the most prevalent element. And it seems that this, especially with Venus being in Pisces, this is a reminder of the need for compassion, a reminder of the need for care, for nurturing. Those are the things that water is reminding us of: kindness, compassion, care. And at the same time, we have a very strong emphasis on the cardinal modality, and the cardinal signs are those, including Aries and Libra, which call us to initiate action. So it seems very clear that we're being spurred to act in the name of compassion, in the name of kindness, and also in the name of the all, the many, rather than the one. And I would say that that theme is emphasized as well because the ruler of Pisces, Neptune, has now made its ingress into the sign of Aries. And in Aries, we have the one, the individual, but with the huge influence of Neptune there, we have the collective, we have the all. And so we're being reminded, not just by Aries Libra, of one and other, but of the individual and the whole, the all that is, that we belong to. So this moon is reminding us that we are all part of a much greater whole, and that we have to cooperate and harmonize with that whole, because not to do so doesn't just damage others. Ultimately, it damages everyone, all of us. And with Chiron in Aries, close to the sun, there is a sense of wounding here. You know, there's a real sense of wounds, of insecurities, of pain that is being caused. And we also have Eris in Aries very close to the sun. And Eris can often be a symbol for public unrest, for people really kicking off and expressing their discontents. You know, the fact that they feel they have had enough. Eris can often be a representative of that kind of energy, and we may be seeing that in various parts of the world. This is an energy emphasized by the fact that Mars, ruler of Aries, is forming a square aspect to the Sun-Moon axes at this time of the full moon. And that square, again, is a call to action. You know, it is highlighting that we must act. And not only that, but Mars is already coming into orb of being in opposition to Pluto. It's not exact. It has been exact, it will be exact again, but it is certainly powerful enough to create this sense of we have come to the crunch. It's crunch time. This is it. We're there. And interestingly, Pluto is forming a sextile to the midheaven of this chart. And obviously offering opportunities there for better ways to be taking things forward. A time to completely throw over the traces and rebirth, if you like, begin this new age which we are heading to. So we're at a time of recognizing, of the full moon highlighting some of the confused and possibly destructive and bitter harvest that we are reaping at the moment. But certainly we can see the pathways ahead, those things that offer solutions to this, and ways in which we can reshape the pieces of, yes, I suppose, a broken world, a world that has sort of broken open. The pieces are up in the air, and we're at the point of where they will resettle. They may be resettling in ways completely different to those that were hoped for by the people who caused the busting open. I think that's going to be the case. We have a very helpful aspect between Saturn and between Uranus. Now, Saturn, in whatever society it is or whatever age it is, represents the forming of structures, of enduring structures for that society. And I've told you that Saturn is with Venus, talking about values right at the point of this full moon. But Saturn is also sextiling Uranus. And Uranus is that bringer in of the future. Now, they're not energies that seem all that compatible. But when you put them together, you can have an opportunity for things to go forward in a way that uses the best of both energies. So the forward-looking inspiration of Uranus, that agent of change, of surprises, of the new, but also Saturn working with that, building solid, enduring, lasting foundations, slowing that process down, making it real, and also bringing in those values from Pisces of greater love, greater compassion, and a greater sense of humanity as a whole, and not a case of individualism run wild, really. I think our message for the future with Neptune in Aries will very much be how the individual is the champion of the greater whole, and how we individuate to serve that bigger picture of being all one together, as we certainly are. You don't need to tell you that we are in turbulent times, and this is certainly a turbulent full moon. And it's a time of very charged energies, and we're feeling that already. We're already in these energies, and we will be beyond the moon. But there are ways forward here, and there are better ways and solutions to the situations that we are in. And there are certainly opportunities to take those. And I think that we will certainly be seeing by February 2026, when we have more exact aspect with Saturn and Uranus, we will really be getting insights of how the future may be shaping up. But for now, as ever, I know that many people are not having an easy time of it, and for that, we can only feel sympathy and a sense of perhaps being in a fix together. But there is hope there, and there are ways forward, and it's my confident belief that we're going to find them. So I leave you with that thought, and I will be back with you next time. So thank you, and bye-bye.